I think we're live. Let me double check that we've got audio. This will take just a second and you'll hear a bit of doubling. Let's see. Come on, reload. Okay, we're good. Let me mute myself because I don't want to hear me. Mute that and nope, that's not the screen we want. Here's the screen we want. Okay, and we're going to start from the beginning, so let me scroll back over. Welcome, everybody. Missing a window. Let me rearrange everything. Yes, Nick, I will take regular questions tonight. I don't have to get through this or, we're not critiquing or anything. Well, I'm critiquing, I guess, my own photos. But yes, we can do regular questions tonight. Okay, so this set of photos I took yesterday, and it was 100 degrees. It was miserable. These are not going to be my best photos. Well, I'll have some photos. I know I've already gone through some of them. Not all of them, but some of them. So I know I've got some good shots, but not as many as I would like, just because it was pretty hot. So when you're taking photos, whenever you're going to go to wildlife or anything like that, one of the best suggestions I can give you, take a lot. I think I have 1,500 or something like that I took. I mean, a lot of photos, because you'll get home and you'll look on your viewfinder and you're like, wow, when you replay the videos on your camera and you're like, wow, these look really good. This came out so good. Yeah, no, you get home and it's like, nope, these were blurry. They're slightly out of focus. They're not super usable. And so you always want to take a lot more than you think you're going to need. So let's start with these. We were on the way out. These actually are all set backwards. I don't know why, because I don't know how to use my stuff. But I definitely want to I just grabbed a few of these because I thought the lighting was pretty, and there were bees on this one. That's nothing I'm going to use. And the reason, if we look at this, if we look in the back end of the flowers, they're out of focus. There's a bee, but he's off to the side. I love bees, so if I can get a photo of a bee, I generally am going to take that opportunity. But this one, no, I definitely don't even see the need for me to edit or use this for anything. It's not, there's nothing interesting. There's no like composition. I mean, and I can crop it for different composition, but it's just not, it's got nothing for me. This one has a bee butt, which is adorable. So I'm going to end up saving this for the sole purpose of that bee butt. I think it's adorable. I definitely will end up using it in some things. I have a project that I've been planning forever that I'm going to do that will include a lot of bees, and I'm going to want a lot of bees in different positions. So, his butt sticking out of a flower is kind of cute. So I'm actually going to go ahead and save that. And I'm going to crop this one down just a bit because I don't need all of this. Let's just remove some of this that I don't need. And really, I don't need any of this. I don't even need to do any editing with light, contrast, any of that. None of that's a real big deal for me because all I really care about in this one is the bee. So I'm just going to save this really quick. And there we go. So what I do, these photos that I'm editing today, these are going to be for the August Patreon reference photos. For Patreon, quick plug here, if you're not already aware, you get access to all of my over 150, I don't know how many there are now, I've been saying 150 for a while, so I know it's way more than that, but you get access to all of my longer tutorials that are 1 to 3 hours long, and reference photos each month. For $4 a month, you get $5 or 5 reference photos. If you're on the $9 pledge, you get a postcard, which I'm always late on. You'll get them eventually. I'm just always late on those. And 10 reference photos total. Actually, lately though, I've been trying to upload a few extras. I ran out of extra photos or haven't come across any good ones, but I'm trying to share some of the extra photos with patrons too. So there's extra there. Okay, let's see. Oh, another good bee. Although this one's in focus. It's just kind of a weird angle, and I feel like if I painted him like that, people would be like, huh, where's his head? Even though looking at the reference, when you look at a photograph, it's a lot more obvious what you're looking at. Like, okay, it's a bee, he's bent over, but when you paint it, people don't accept it as being accurate like they do a photograph. Even though they may be the exact same, they'll assume that you as the artist screwed up, even if that is exactly what the reference photo was. So you've got to keep that in mind when you are painting and drawing different subjects. And a lot of times with animals and with people, if somebody just has their hand bent at a weird angle, it'll look like you did something wrong, not that their hand was bent at a weird angle. So you've got to keep all of that in mind when you're choosing the right reference photos. So I'm not going to save that. That's out of focus. See what I mean? You'll constantly have them out of focus. I was in focus on the flowers up front, but not him. That's a good one. Oh, that's actually a shareably, like, that could be used as a Patreon. If you guys, let me know for patrons on here, if this is a photo you want, let me know. That's, I'm kind of liking that one as a standalone, surprisingly so. So I'm going to go ahead, let's see, do I want to crop this at all? Maybe a bit. I'll just pull some of that out so it'd be zoomed in on him a little bit more, or the flowers in general. And let's go ahead. I usually will drop highlights and whites a bit because see right here, okay, so whites have a tendency when you photograph them to be a bit overexposed. If I drop highlights just a bit, suddenly I can see a lot more details. And you would think, and it's the opposite of what I'm usually telling people when it comes to painting and drawing. Usually I'm saying hype up the contrast, get your whites, you know, your lights brighter, your darks darker, all of that. The thing is, on this one, it's the exposure when you're photographing, they usually blow out the whites. So it's a lot, if you're like me and don't know how to use your camera, I should throw that in there. So I'll generally drop those a bit. Yeah, Nick says to zoom, crop in tight on that one. And I can, but what I like to do is not crop in too tight when I'm providing photos, especially for Patreon, because I don't know what you as the artist is going to want. Someone may want to do the whole background. Someone may want just a close-up of the bee. I don't know. And so what I usually do is not crop it too much, just so that you guys can make the choice as to how much of that photo you wanted. But yeah, if I were to paint this, I would definitely, yeah, that would look, oh my gosh, how much better does that look? I may just violate my own whole thing that I just preached on about. I want to provide the biggest photo, but that's so much more impressive. Oh my gosh. Okay, fine. I'm going to undo. Well, what I'll do, actually, I'm going to save this as two different ones. I'll save the full and I'm going to save the cropped in version. That way I can like fit both interests there. So let's zoom way in on him. Whoops. Learn how to use the buttons, Lisa. So what I'm doing, one of the things that I like with Lightroom, and I mean most editors are going to do this, look at how I've got, it basically has rule of thirds built in. I can very easily figure out exactly where I want stuff, and I may not always go with rule of thirds. Sometimes that isn't what looks best, but I may not here. But it is a pretty handy little thing. Let's see what we look like at that crop. Yeah. That's the one. Now, the thing is, when I crop in this far, I may not see as much detail. The file size will be smaller, basically. You're only getting this one, but you're still, the detail, what you're actually seeing on this smaller one versus the full size would be the same when you zoomed in. The file size will be smaller, though, because I just chopped off everything else. Yeah, I would provide this one both big and smaller. Because, like we're seeing here, Elaine likes the background. So, you know, if somebody wants the full one, that would be available. If I were to draw this, this is how I would do it. But we are saving that one too. Let me make sure I'm saving both ways. I think my file should be showing both. Yeah, it's showing both. Okay. I'm kind of excited about that one. Ooh, is this one more clear though? Kind of a weird angle and the thing coming out of there. I'm not gonna... I'll save this for me just as is for the B one I'm going to do, but I don't think, I like the other one better. So that's the other thing. When I'm looking through photos, especially with Patreon, when I'm cutting it down to like 10 photos, I'm going for the best of that grouping. There may be another photo that would be okay. It's still decent, but the other one was better, so I'm not going to bother, you know, it ends up being kind of a repeat of everything. So that one's out of focus. Oh, this one's nice. Zooming in there. That one works. I'm going to go ahead and save that. I'm not going to edit that one again because I've already got the one and I think I like the other one slightly better. I like that one a little bit better, and that's personal. Like somebody else may like the other one better, but that one's good too. So I am going to just go ahead and save that as a, what I do when I save them, it's more of a possibility to provide to Patreon. Like it'll probably be something that I provide as a bonus photo, not the initial 5 to 10. But I don't really need to edit or do much to it at this point. If I ended up using it, I might later. We'll just save it. That one's slightly out of focus, but a good angle. So I'm going to save that too, but it wouldn't be one I'd provide to Patreon. Unless I used it and then, you know, in a painting and then I show you guys what I was using. Oh, that's nice and clear. That's a good one. Okay, we're going to save that one too. I'll save the full one. Actually, yeah, let's go ahead and save. And so you can kind of see how long of a process this is. This is only when I was on my way out of the zoo and I saw flowers, and my husband's like, a bee, because he knows how much I like them. And so I was taking photos of an orange flower, which you'll see in a minute. But I just went and grabbed a couple of shots, and they were usable. When you are out taking photos, photograph everything. You never know what may end up being like, it's a bee on the way out. I wasn't even there to get bee photos, but I really like how it looked. So I'm glad that I did. But take photos of absolutely everything. I'm going to drop highlights a bit, whites a bit. Usually I will tone down shadows, but on this one, I kind of like it being a bit harsher. Pull blacks down a little bit. Yeah, I like that one pretty well. I want to make the purple a little bit brighter though. Let's pull that up. So what I'm doing, I went down to Color Mixer, and you can choose which colors you want. So let's say I wanted to make the background black and white. This background's mostly green, so if I hit the green, I can just drop down saturation and tone that down. So now we're focused on the color in the bee. You've got a lot of things that you can very, very easily edit within Lightroom. So I'm not going to change the saturation or anything with, actually, maybe turn the luminance down. Maybe I'm going to leave it as it is for the photo that I save. But if I were to paint or draw this, I would probably pull it back into Lightroom and make any adjustments to see how I might want to draw that. I'm going to pull, same thing, I'm going to pull this. Actually, those are a little bit too dull there. Okay, I'm going to save that. And the funny thing is, when I'm looking at photos, taking photographs, I may look at a photo, or even if I'm looking at photos on Pixabay, I may save the photo one time, look at it again 2 months later, and suddenly I love it when I initially hated it. We can change our minds constantly. Okay, I should have put the camera that I use in the description. If I remember, if you're watching this like after the fact, I'll have gone back through and put in a link to the camera that I use and the lenses that I'm using, but I forgot, so that's not helpful. It's a Canon 6D, and the lens, this is my 70 to 300 millimeter, or crap, I don't remember which lens this was. I think it was a 70. Yes, this was definitely the 70 to 300 millimeter. You want to make sure when you're, hold on, let me make sure I don't need to respond to this. Oh, yay, new patron. Hi, Maya. Welcome, if you're watching. But if you're, with this, I went with that lens because I was standing kind of at a distance, and I was trying to get bees without scaring them away. So that's kind of a pretty simple flower. That might be fun if it was cropped in. Let's see. So what I'm going to do before I bother cropping, let's see if any of these are. This one. Okay, this one, I don't know if you can really see this, but here, this is a little bit, it's kind of fuzzy and out of focus right in the center there, whereas this one is a little bit more focused. So that's why I'm going to choose that one over the previous. Let's see if any of these, because I mean, when I'm taking these photos at the zoo, I don't have a tripod. I'm not bringing a full setup. I'm holding it. So you want to make sure you've got a lens that has the not autofocus. I think I said autofocus earlier. What I meant was stabilizer, like an actual stabilizer on it. Because while you want to take the tips and watch photography videos, Peter McKinnon has great ones. He's one of my favorites. But you know, you can hold the camera in a way that is going to stabilize it as well as possible, especially if you can rest your arms on like a fence or something like that. But even then, if it's not on a tripod and you don't have a stabilizer, like I won't buy a lens that doesn't have a stabilizer on it. It's that big of a deal. I would rather, and the ones with stabilizers may cost hundreds more, worth it. This is one of those things you would, if you're looking at cameras and research, I'm not a camera expert, but I made the mistake early on, not on this camera, on my last DSLR, where I was like, it's hundreds more, I can't afford that. I'll get the cheaper one. I wanted a macro lens. I couldn't use the macro lens unless I had it on a tripod. Everything was out of focus. So what I should have done, looking back, I felt like I kind of wasted my money on that. I mean, I bought it, I had to use it. I could have sold it, I guess, but I would have taken a cut there. It would have been better for me to save money longer in order to afford the better one. But the image stabilizer is a must when I buy lenses. Sarah said, do you more photos in your computer than you took or downloaded thinking you'd use them for art than you can probably ever get to. Oh, okay. It's some typos and my brain is not functioning. Yes, I always take way more and save way more photos than I'm ever going to use. But I would rather have too much than be like, crap, I wish I hadn't deleted that photo. Or I wish I hadn't, I wish I would have taken that shot, even though I didn't think I would use it at the time. You might later. Always, yes, I always have way more. Heather said, thank you for taking the bee pictures. I can't wait to paint at least one of them. Okay, well then I know I definitely need to provide that to you guys, whether it be in the 10 or a bonus. I'll make sure you guys get the bee over on Patreon. Cavium said, thinking of buying Black 2.0 Blackest Black to use for acrylic background to make some cool effects. I have no idea what that is. You must educate us. I'm not sure. Moody said, subscribe to your Patreon today. I should be painting, but nope, I'd rather sit and watch your videos. That's awesome. Well, welcome and thank you for joining. Okay. That makes me excited. I get goosebumps. Okay. Oh, now look at how much better this. So, okay. Yeah, that is a way better photo than these. See, these are kind of, again, it depends on what monitor, like screen you're working on. If you're on a big computer monitor, you can probably see how out of focus this is. If you're on a phone, it looks like it's in focus. And that's what happens when you double check your photos, like you pull it up on your viewfinder thing on your cameras. I looked at this, I was like, it's totally in focus. Is it usable? Yes, I can use this. Will I give it to Patreon? No, it's not good enough for Patreon. I want my best of my best photos to go to patrons. But I'll save the photo. Like, I'm not going to delete it. I may end up using that. It's got good contrast. You know, I like the lights and darks, but it's out of focus when I get, and I can really see that when I get to this. Look at how the center of that flower is super in focus. The petals a little bit less just because it was a shallow depth of field there, but that's a really good one. That is definitely, yeah, that one. See, and it's slight difference, but I'll go back and forth. Which one's slightly more? I like that one better, I think. Kelly said, I think that cropped bee photo would make a beautiful watercolor painting. If only I was good at watercolor. Practice, you will be. And yes, I think I should do that with watercolor. I think that's a good idea. Thanks, Xerxes. Cavium said, it's a black acrylic paint that absorbs 99% of light and almost looks like you use black pen tool. In real life, I have got to look into this because that sounds amazing. I'm a big fan of black paint. I know people are like, don't ever use black. I like black. So that is, I have to look into that. Okay, so with this one, now this one, if you can see a little bit of spider webs or something on it, of course I wouldn't include that in my painting. It almost looks like spider mite webs, kinda. Anyway, let's go ahead and crop that. I know I don't need all of this. Oh, I like that. Include that with maybe a butterfly or something. That would be really pretty. No, I don't like that crap. Undo that. I just found chicken fuzz. Get off of me, chicken fuzz. Actually, I think I'll just save it how it is and then decide how I want the crop when I decide what I'm doing it for. So I may hype up contrast a bit. Oh, yep, definitely hyping up contrast. Now watch what happens when I drop highlights. Look at how suddenly I can see more detail in that yellow. Like that's, it's a noticeable difference if you drop highlights. So I will usually highlights get dropped, whites can stay a little bit brighter, and they can stay about where they are. Shadows, if you're working on something where something is really dark, you can raise shadows and it'll show you the details in those dark areas. This one definitely does not need that. I can leave the darks here. I'm going to leave that about like that and go ahead and save that one. I wouldn't say that that's one that I would provide as like one of the 5 to 10 for Patreon, but I may send this to you guys just as a bonus because it is a pretty photo. It's just not good enough to make the 5 to 10 cut. Okay, baby gorilla is adorable. This guy was a crack up, and I'm pretty sure most of these photos are going to be out of focus with him. And this is why you want to take just shoot. I snap. I mean, I'm like constantly when I'm working with animals because one of those may be in focus. And especially if they're moving a lot or, you'll be taking photos and it's in focus, but their eyes were blinking on that one. So it always take a lot. Like when I would do pet portraits and I would go, if it was someone local, went and took photos of like the horses or the dogs or whatever to get the photos myself, I'm probably going to take 200 photos minimum. And maybe get one that I like out of that. Sometimes more. But I mean, it depends on how wiggly the dog was. But take a lot of photos. This guy was a crack up. His mom was nearby watching him. So let's see. I mean, these are funny and definitely something that I want to hang on to just because who knows if I'm ever doing a painting and I want him in different positions and such. But no, he's hanging out of his ball, swinging back and forth. But none of these are really That one's actually a decent photo. So here's a thing that you can do with one of your photos. Let's see, sketch. Oops, I just scrolled too far. Hold on one second. Let me scroll back up just a bit. Nick said, are these images JPEG or RAW? I honestly hate to admit this. So I was having issues with my camera the last time I went to get photos, and I reset everything just in case something had gotten off there, and I forgot to change this to shoot in RAW. So everything in this photo shoot was shot in JPEG. I mean, they work and they're good photos, but you can edit and manipulate a little bit better if it's a RAW file. So I recommend RAW, but these are JPEGs because I'm dumb. The photos are fine as an art, for artwork, they're fine. I mean, I wouldn't make posters out of them, but yeah, they're, I hate to admit that, but yes. Let's see. Julia said, your eye is incredible. Thank you for sharing. Oh, thank you, Julia. Ursi said, I like that I take photos. I take a lot of photos too. Good. You need them. So this is one of the things I love. So, okay. If you get a photo that is kind of out of focus here. Now, not out of focus, it's just like bad, it's kind of washed out. Usually if I'm taking a photo of an animal that's behind glass, one of the things that I like to do is come down to, here we go, clarity or dehaze. You can just, look at that. Move that button over. This is something I would paint. All I did is take dehaze and move it up from 0 to, I mean, look at that. That's more, and the thing that I like too about this, look how now it pulls out the blues and purples and the reds in her fur. That wasn't necessarily super showing in the photo or what she looks like in real life. I mean, it's more blue than she would have, but if I were to paint this, you guys know when I paint an animal that has a lot of black fur, like a black leopard, black whatever, I am going to pull purples and blues. And I say the same thing if I'm drawing a portrait and someone has black hair. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to pull those purples and blues. This just did it for me. This just made my life easier. I can see where to put those. See, now I'm showing you all my tricks of how you thought I was better than I really was. No, I Lightroom. But I fix stuff here. But look at how great that is. Now this is over the top with the dehaze there. So, but I mean, it's usable. I wouldn't really go that much, but it's usable. And that's not the only thing that will clear that up. You've got a lot of different things in here too. Actually, I still like a little bit more. We can go through on, now there are going to be other ones like where I want to make the darks darker. Let's drop blacks down, whites. I'm going to actually punch up a bit on this one. Shadows, probably don't want the shadows too dark because I want artists to be able to see the details. So that's one of the things, even though when I paint or draw it, I'll probably go through and punch, pull the shadows down, make things darker. When an artist is, or when I'm painting it, I will, but I don't like to drop that too much and make it too dark, even though visually I think it looks a little bit nicer at the time. I also want the artist to be able to look at that and be able to see details that they may want to add that are in those darks. And that's one of the things that are really nice for getting that. So let's go ahead and crop this down. Get rid of some of that wall. Now look how I'm cropping this. See those rule of thirds there, those lines? I've got that right about her eye, right in this upper, I'm pointing at my screen. You can't see that, but right at her eye there, that's where I really would want the focus to be on that painting. I love the way her hands are positioned. I like that she's holding onto her foot. I just love everything about that, the way that she is sitting there. But look at how I was able to just easily, rule of thirds already there. Makes it really easy to kind of get an idea of how I might want to crop that for a painting or just for the photograph. So let's go ahead and save that. Raking Foundation said, thank you for all the graphite tutorials. Made me feel better about how long I take on them. Oh yeah, gosh, that one I just did took forever. They are not, yes, that was very long. Okay. That's neat too. I like her looking off in the distance. You could paint something like that there's a butterfly or a bird or an octopus. I don't know. I'm weird. You could put anything there that she's kind of looking at and pondering. I like that. I'm going to save that one too. So we'll go ahead and crop that down. Now, is this guaranteed? I like the poop in the photo. I would probably Photoshop that out before I provided it to patrons, unless they really wanted it to be super realistic. But I don't remember where I was going with that before I went off on my poop ramble. Let's go ahead and dehaze this. I love how it just pulls those colors in there. I'm also going to pull blacks down, and there are a million different ways that you can get something that looks very similar. Dehazing is not the only way. I'm sure you'll have someone who actually knows photography telling you that's the worst thing in the world to do. I don't know. I'm looking at it as an artist, as what makes it easier for me to see what I need to see. That's why I choose this. This is not, don't take this as a tutorial of how to get the best photographs ever. This is a tutorial on how I get photographs that make it easy for me to paint. So I'm gonna punch up whites and highlights a bit. I'm gonna raise shadows just a bit so I can see shadow, like the shadow between her leg, under her chin, all of that there. That works, good enough. We'll go ahead and save that one. Okay, let's see what we've got next. I like her. Okay, so one of the reasons I wouldn't use this one, just personally, I like where her hand is positioned kind of over her belly on her knee like that, better than how it's positioned here. This one, but I'm not going to delete this photo because I really don't delete almost any of them unless they're super out of focus. Because what if I one day decided I wanted to paint something and I wanted her holding a thing of roses? It would make sense. I don't know, roses, spoons, whatever. It would make more sense to use this photo than this one. So it would probably the layout. So I keep all of them, but I don't necessarily have to edit all of them, if that makes sense. So let's go on to next. That one, her face looks beautiful. You could even have her holding, like, I don't know, a baby puppy. Baby puppy. Not redundant. So you've got a few options there. Beak said, does Lightroom work well for iPhones? I have an 8 and it's passable. Can't afford a DSLR. It works for, I mean, I've taken photos with, I use my Galaxy Note. I've taken photos with that and imported it into Lightroom and made edits on it. Is it good as good of, I can't talk, as good as a DSLR? That was hard to say for some reason. No. Can you still use those photos to paint from? Absolutely. And if you would have asked me that same thing 5-10 years ago, I would have been like, no, you're not going to get something really usable from a cell phone. Our cell phones now have gotten to where the camera's phenomenal. They're really, really good. I've taken photos with a cell phone that I could work from. And it's funny because you could probably find some of my older videos where I'm saying, don't, the cell phone won't work. You need a DSLR. Will the DSLR get you better results, better details, better all that? Yes. Can you take the photo and get a decent shot from your cell phone? Absolutely. So yeah, Lightroom will help you with that, and you can make edits. I do it fairly often where I take a photo with mine on like my easel at night where I don't want to grab the DSLR. I email it to myself, load it into Lightroom, and make some edits there. Again, not as good. I don't want to like mislead you, but still it's very usable. And the neat thing, if you have Adobe, like I have my subscription with them, I have Lightroom on my phone too. And it's not as good as what's on the computer, but it does work. Like it's really good for making certain edits, whether it be adjusting lighting, much better than the stock. It's the best editor I have. Better than stock, better than any of the other photo editors I have, but not as good as what you have on the computer, but still pretty handy. Let's see. Buzz said, I was asked to donate a piece of mine to a well-known association in entire USA for an auction for a banquet they are having. Wonder if it's worth it. Had any success doing that? No. The only time I would at this point, and for years, I used to donate to different rescues, like Italian Greyhound Rescue. I think at one point I did something for Greyhound Rescue. It's been years. I pretty much stopped doing it. I've donated art many, many times over the years. Do it because you want to, not because you plan on it benefiting you. It doesn't. It usually doesn't. They'll do, but the exposure, and we'll put her, it never benefited me. Never. And the bigger thing is they like to tell you, and I don't think that they're trying to lie. I think that they genuinely don't know because, you donate to something to somewhere, whatever. You'll get a tax deduction. It's tax deductible, not your artwork. Your artwork is not tax deductible if you donate it at all. There is no deduction for you to donate your own artwork. Donate a painting that you bought from somebody else. Yeah, you can deduct that. You cannot deduct your own artwork. It doesn't work. It's not legal. So, I mean, people do it. It's just not legal. If they ever got audited, they'd be screwed. So, yeah, you can't. So what you would be better off doing, you put that painting on eBay or somewhere where it's more likely to make more money, sell it for what it's worth. And that's the other thing, at those auctions, those banquets, they almost never sell for what they're worth. Now, it's going to depend on the event. If you're at a higher end event, that would be different. But any of them that I was involved with, like Italian Greyhound Rescue, any of those, no, they never went for anywhere near. I mean, they'd sell for $40 what I would have sold for $300. That doesn't even make sense. So, you'd be better off, you can sell the work yourself and just donate the money. They're going to get more money out of it, and the money you can deduct. That you can deduct. So no, I mean, as far as getting exposure, getting that, it was never worth it. If you want to do it for fun. Do it for, like, one of the exceptions for me in doing that is if you have a hard time selling your artwork, they're not selling on eBay, they're not whatever, but you still want to contribute something, then it would be worth it to you. I'm not saying it's never of value to do. It just makes more sense if you can sell it on your own and donate the money. Now it's a tax deduction, and it's also going to get that foundation more money than they otherwise would have gotten. And they, like I said, a lot of these don't realize you can't write that off. It's not deductible for you. So things to keep in mind, but I've never had it benefit me as far as getting me work after the fact, ever. Thanks, Circes. Let's see. Sarah said, pretty much all the pieces I've done for my own photos were done from photos taken from my phone. That's cool. Joseph said, did you get her to sign a consent form? There are 4 tribes of apes in the world now entering their stone age. In no time they'll be making copyright claims. Did you guys read the one where I think it was some animal rights activist? Someone had taken a photo or put a camera up in it was some kind of primate. And I don't remember which one, if it was an ape or whatever, but went and kind of shot a photo of themselves with, like, they took the photo, and the photographer, it was their camera, their setup, their everything. Won awards, whatever, for this photo. It was an amazing photo. And animal rights people came after them and said, no, the copyright belongs to the animal who took the photo. And I believe they won, which is, yeah, animal rights people are generally not wrapped real tight. I'm all for like taking care of animals, treating them well, all that, with you on that. But the actual, like, AR people are just insane. Okay, let's see. Breaking said, my art teacher told me I was too slow to be an artist, but would compliment my work. 8x10 takes forever in graphite for me. Will you have a full video for your portrait? I will. It's already on Patreon, but I will have one on YouTube as well. Let's see. Any tips for narrowing down ideas? I tend to have too many ideas and can't decide what to draw. You pick one. Literally pick one. Put it in a hat. Put all your ideas in a hat and pick one. Just get started. Don't make the mistake that I see so often where somebody will just waste so much time trying to find the perfect idea, the perfect thing, and they could have had 3 paintings done by the time they found something, and those 3 paintings would have been good practice even if it wasn't their best idea. Just pick something. Blue Tea said, I've been doing photorealism for about a year and I want to learn more, but lately I've been more and more into anime, but I'm at a crossroads. Any advice? Do both. Try a painting that has some anime mixed with realism would be cool. That would be very unique as well, which kind of makes you stand apart from straight anime artists and straight realism artists. But maybe you have a little baby gorilla that's in realism and an anime character, like human. Get creative. Okay, make sure to, you guys, do the Lachri fine art so it's highlighted in orange. If it is not, I will almost never see the comment, not because I'm trying to ignore you, but I just don't see it. And if you have a hard time, if you can't get that to work, not gonna lie, I have trouble with it myself, ask one of the moderators or somebody else to post your question for you. Let's see. Jay said, I would like to do a painting of a VW Beetle and was wondering if I can sell it, or would there be copyright issues because of the brand? People do draw and sell cars all the time. I don't think there's any problems with that because it's transformative. You're not copying the Beetle into a new car and then selling a new car that looks just like the Beetle. That's where you get into trademark and copyright and all of that stuff. But when you're making an art piece out of it, you should be okay as far as I know. I mean, there are artists who focus just on that. Of course, there's artists who do fan art and they shouldn't. But as far as I know, that's considered transformative. You're not competing against VW if it's your own photo. I could be wrong on that. Not a lawyer. I've never really looked into it because I'm not into cars, but that may, besides them getting me from here to art supply store or the pet store, or fish store, but yeah, I'm gonna go with I don't know for sure because I don't want to get you into legal trouble, but people have been doing that for years with no trouble as far as I know. This little guy is adorable, but he's so funny. That is a fairly clear photo. Again, I'll save it, but I'm probably not going to use it right now. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and crop it just in case I end up sending that over as a bonus Patreon one. It's definitely not one that I would be like, here's your so pull it out this way, your 10 reference photos, but it is really cute. Now watch what I can do, because see how dark he is. You can't see a lot of details around his face. Watch how I can take shadows, just punch that up. Now I can see the details in there. This is why Lightroom, when you're editing photos, I used to do everything in Photoshop, and I mean, it's the same company. I still use Photoshop for a lot of stuff, but when you want to edit, look at all that I can see now. And I can let the darks be a little bit darker. My whites, I'm going to push down. Doesn't really make much difference there for him, but let's go ahead and save that because I'm probably going to give that as a bonus one. Let's see. Listening to me slurp coffee. That's lovely. See, out of focus. Wouldn't even save this one. Well, I say I wouldn't save it, but it's kind of cute how he's in the middle of a swing, but he was just, this guy is absolutely hilarious. Now with this one, I don't like it's cropped. It's missing his toes. I would need another photo for that. His hand is out of focus, but his face looks awesome and super in focus there. Let's see what happens if we just crop that. I mean, I was pretty far away, so you're not going to see a ton of details when I blow it up. Yeah, see how now it looks more out, like it's in focus. It's just that I was really far away. That's not even worth worrying about there. Let's see what else we've got. Boz said, I'm looking to dive into human portraits. I do realism animal portraits, but I am wondering at what age or pose would be best to start with. Human portraits seem much more difficult. I don't know that there's challenges no matter what age you work with. Oh, that is cute. There are, what you want to do, honestly, find a photo that you love, that good, clear photo, high contrast if you can, not taking with a cell phone if possible, not, selfie. Find a good quality portrait and work from that, something that you're excited about. But I don't think there's any whoops, that's not what I meant to do. Any age or anything like that you need to really worry about or pose. I would start with a face. I will say I wouldn't jump into full body. I would do just the face to start with. Get the hang of that before you start including more of the body, just to make it a little bit easier for you to get the hang of. The other thing that you may want to do is work on elements. Like if you're brand new to portraits, draw just an eye. Make a super realistic eye, super realistic ear. I know that sounds boring, but you can do it in a sketchbook. Super realistic mouth, nose, all of those elements before you draw everything together, and that makes it a lot easier. That would be my biggest tip. Let's see. I'm going to pull up shadows so I can see more detail. Now, see, it's not necessarily that it's more interesting as far as a photograph, like a poster or something like that, but I can see details I couldn't see before, and so that's why I may bump that up, choose to bump it up, not because it makes for a better photo, but because I will be able to see what I need to see in order to paint. And here's the thing, look at the background here, that white with the stone. Watch what happens when I drop that down. I can see details in that stone in the background. You push it up, you lose all of that. Now, I don't really care if I see details in the stone, so I'm just going to leave it alone. But that's one of the things, and we'll find other photos that I can. We'll go ahead and save that. Show you that more on. That's another really good one. I'm pretty sure he's covered in his own urine. I don't think that was water. He kept messing all over where he was playing, and I don't think that's water. Let's see. So, you know, you're welcome for ruining that for you. If I were to paint it, I would paint it like it was water. I'd put like something in front of them and use it. I mean, it's wet fur is wet fur, but yeah, just ruin that for you. Kind of like when I first got into saltwater tanks. I'm gonna punch up shadows so I can see more detail. When I first got into saltwater tanks, when I found out that sea foam in the ocean, the pretty sea foam that you walk through, yeah, it's nature's protein skimmer, which is fish poop. Yeah, ruined that for me too. So now I've ruined the pretty, look, he played in the water. No, I'm pretty sure he's playing in his pee. Okay. Let's drop down highlights a little bit. Honestly, this is good. I don't know that that'll be one of my 10. Actually, I do want to, let's dehaze this a bit. Just a touch. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. Does the Lightbox program allow you to polarize the photo? It's Lightroom, not Lightbox. That would be something different. I'm sure something else calls something Lightbox. So just to be clear, not the same thing. This is Lightroom, and does it allow me to polarize the photo? Possibly. Do I know how? No, I don't. It's not something I mess with. So I can't show you or whatever. I would just do a Google search or a YouTube search, polarize in Lightroom, and you're gonna get your answer right there. Okay, did I save that? I don't remember. Let's save it now. Okay. Oh my gosh, that's super cute too. Keep cropping these because these are all ones that I'll probably eventually provide to Patreon here and there. Like I said, they're probably not going to be the main ones, but super cute. Okay, let's do the same thing. Actually, shadows don't even, I'll bump it a bit. I'm going to pull blacks down now. Yeah, good enough. We'll go ahead and save that. Let's see. Veek said, once you put your photo on Shutterstock, are you still able to use it as your own reference photo? I have no idea how that works. I've never gotten into stock or selling photos for stock photos, so I really don't know. Okay. Mary says, thanks for the visual on fish food. No, not fish food, fish poo. It's worse. We're walking and frolicking along in fish poo. Fish food would not bother me as much. Let's see. Oh, that's really cute too. Man, so many of these, I don't normally save this many that are that similar. It's just that these were really good shots of this guy. And who knows what somebody is going to want to paint. Let's go ahead and bump shadows up a bit so we can see a little bit more detailing around here. Save that. I'm going to go through these really quickly so we can get onto another animal. Now see, this one's dark, blurry, out of focus, but I do want to show you what happens. Let's crop it so you can see a little bit more clearly. Watch what happens, and I'm not going to use this or save this photo because it is completely out of focus and we have all those other good ones. But see how everything's dark? You can't see anything? Bump shadows up. Look at the details. I mean, I really pulled shadows up. Look at the details you can see versus the original. This is where Lightroom is so, so helpful, but we're not using that. Mary says, darn, that's worse. Yes, fish poo. Not fun. Irvin said, what if when we hear our name but no one is there as our parent? I don't know. Okay. Oh, seriously? How cute is he? He just keeps making cute poses. He's licking his stick. Let's see. I think this was either mom or whoever was currently babysitting him. She was just following him around, making sure he's not getting into trouble. It's cute, but it's kind of blurry, not super in focus. Let me see if I can lighten that and make that work for us a bit more. It is cute, mom in the background watching him play. I don't like that she's chopped. It's not a great photo. I don't know if I need to save that. That one's usable for sure. Let's go ahead and save that. I'm going to punch up shadows again so we can see a bit more. Pull blacks down just a bit. Actually, let's pull contrast a little bit. I'm going to dehaze just a bit, not too much. Let's pull up. Actually, that can stay where it is. Highlights. Let's see if that helps. No, I'm going to leave highlights alone, or close enough to it. Okay, let's go ahead and save this. His hand is out of focus. You know, as the artist would have to kind of adjust for that. Let's see what else we've got. Apparently trying to eat the stick. That is also adorable. Like, so it was funny watching him. If you've never watched a baby gorilla, it's very similar to a toddler. The falling around, flopping over, just the way they play, so similar to a human toddler. So cute. That's really cute too. I like the motion. Like, you can, this could actually, hold on, let's crop this a bit. I'm going to hype up contrast a little. No, too much. We're not going to do that. I lied. Pull blacks down a little bit. Whites up just a touch. Dehaze that just a little bit. That'll work. Let's go ahead and save that. We've got I did not think I would have gotten this many good ones, because he was the last, like, we spent some time at this their habitat before we left. Oh man, that one might even be better. This one's better because he's looking up. So see what I mean? You want to take photo and photo and photo, because here his eyes are looking up, whereas this one he's looking forward. This one makes for a better photo. So you said you just been missing this creepy wind chimes in my live stream lately. You know, I don't think there's any wind. We're in the, like, middle of well, not middle. I don't know. The weather is horrible. There is no wind. It is miserable in Texas right now. Also, I don't have the window open because it's miserable in Texas right now. I'm sure you'll hear those in my future house. Let's bump up shadows. Again, it looks better when it's a little darker, but I'm lightening it up, pulling those up so that an artist can like clearly see where things go. That's really all I need to do on that one. I'm going to hype up the color saturation just a bit. Go ahead and save that. I'm going to have a really hard time deciding which ones to send over to Patreon. Oh, now we've moved on to picking his nose, I think. Yep. Aw. Okay, let's grab that one too. His face, my gosh. Let's hype up shadows so that we can see a bit more. And really, that's fine. Oh my gosh, does he just keep getting cuter and cuter? He must have been doing this on purpose. He's like, she's gonna have to edit these photos. I'll let there be a lot. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's move through these a bit faster. Again, I'm gonna, you know, I'm not deleting any of these because so many of these are definitely usable. So I'll just randomly throw some. Oh my gosh. His face, that's a good one. Look how clear. Now, one of the reasons that makes this great, I don't love that his leg is behind this branch, but or the pole there, but that can work. If I were to paint this, I would take out the rope or whatever that thing is, remove that. Whoops. What are you trying to do there? Let's pull some of this. That is one of my favorites. Let's go ahead. I can darken up or hype my contrast up a bit more. Pull my blacks down. Let's get saturation up a little bit. Actually, it's not even, I don't want to hype up the saturation of the green, so let's go ahead and hype up saturation of blues and purples. So you can choose exactly which color you want to focus on. So let's go ahead and hype up blue a bit. I'm going to hype up purple a bit. There we go. Let's pull, I'm going to get blacks a little bit darker. I'm going to pull down my whites a bit too, because I think that that's a little bit too harsh on his head. There we go. So go ahead and save that. I love that one because if you look at his face, it's very, very clear. You can see a lot of details. You can see the reflection in his eyes. That is a very, very strong photo. I mean, heck, you can even zoom in and just, you know, draw the face if you wanted. The contrast, the lighting, the background, that one is definitely a good one. Kelly said, I have quite a bit of family in Dallas. They kept trying to get me to move there, but I hate the heat, and I like my mountains in Utah. Yeah, big difference between here and Utah. I come from Southern California where we had the mountains, but I like the flat lands here, although we're just building houses on everything, so it's just flat land of houses, which isn't as pretty as the flat fields. But I hate winters is my bigger thing. I mean, it's really hot here right now, but the winters are what it is. We have the ugliest winters because everything's dormant and brown, but there's not pretty white snow covering it. Not that I really want to live in snow either, but it's not pretty here in the winter. That's cute too. Let's see, how clear is that? That's pretty clear. That is definitely another one that is usable. Let's go ahead and crop that really quick. Let's see. Mary said, when are you scheduled to move into your new house again? I don't know for sure. The builder said it would be finished sometime estimated between November 15th and January 15th. I'm hoping for January. So, and then you have to go through having the inspection and closing, all that whole thing. So, the later the better, but it's this winter pretty much. Hopefully. Late fall, early winter. So let's go ahead, contrast a bit. I'm going to pull my highlights down. My shadows are going to get darkened a bit too. Blacks. There we go. I'm going to hype up the color. No, not saturation. I'm going to do the same thing with my purples and blues. Hype that up just a bit. There we go. Go ahead and save that one. I don't even know how I'm going to choose which of this baby we'll be using. Oh my gosh. See, I keep going through. I'm like, oh, that's another good one. I normally don't get this many usable good shots of one animal. It might be a few that are usable, but not this many. This has been weirdly, even that. Oh my gosh. Like so many photos that I would, my general rule for Patreon reference photos are, if I wouldn't paint from it, I'm not providing it to you guys to paint from. I mean, that doesn't make sense. So you're not going to get, oh, look, he's peeing. See what I mean? Let's go ahead. Oh my gosh. Skip through his little stream there. Look at his face. Completely unapologetic. Just, I peed all over myself. It's cool. I'll go take a bath later. It's like a Cocker Spaniel. I just offended somebody with Cocker Spaniels, but I've lived with them. I know. Where was I going with that? I don't even remember. I was off on a tangent. That's another really good one. Wow. Look at the contrast. Look at the lights and the darks. This I'm really like. Gosh, so many of these. I, like, not even kidding you. Normally, I only get a handful that are usable, and these are... The nice thing is it's going to give me a lot of Patreon bonus photos out of this batch because, wow. But yeah, it's one of the things that I've seen where people are like, here's your reference photo. No, it's been years since I saw somebody do this, but it was like, here's the foot of a porcupine. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do with that photo. So it's very important for me to provide photos that are very usable. I don't really need to edit it. I just like how that is. We're just going to save that as is. Thanks, Mary. I may have already said thanks. I don't know. My brain's all over the place. Shocker. See, man, look at his eyes. That is amazing. That is also going to get saved now. Oh my, I did not, I'm kind of weirding myself out. I hope the rest of the photos this day turned out this good because this is unusual. I'm kind of proving wrong what I was saying about take a million photos. You won't get that many good ones. I apparently got lucky with this guy. More. How am I getting this many usable? This is kind of shocking to me. I mean, I'm glad to prove myself wrong because yay, but bad timing. Prove myself wrong live. I'm going to drop shadows down. Or that. Hype up my saturation. Nope, that's too much green. Let's tone that down just a bit. Pull blues and purples up. There we go. Okay, let's save that. Hi, Michael. Michael said, there's a difference between snapshots and photographs. It is unfortunate that the great economy of digital images tend to help us create snapshots. Take time to photograph. Really, really good advice. I'm doing snapshots here, not to lie. At this point, we were dying in the heat. Again, 100 degrees. And we were like, okay, we're going to go home. We're done. And I'm like, oh my gosh, the baby's out playing. I have to go get photos. And like sweating like you wouldn't. I don't think I've ever sweated so much in my life. It was disgusting. I don't like to sweat. It's gross. Okay. Mom looking at her hand, or whoever's babysitting. I don't know if that was actually a mom. That's actually pretty cute. That would make for a cute photo too. August, the month where Lisa only provided gorilla photos because there were so many good ones. Let's go ahead. Well, let's bump up shadows a little bit so you can see more on her, more details in her face. doesn't really help me. I'll just leave it how it is. Hope you guys like gorillas. Okay, so you said you've got me all hyped for the bonus reference photos now. Good. And if I forget, because I totally, well, I didn't have as many leftover reference photos this last month to do bonus ones, but I combine that with I forgot. And I was looking through photos the other day. I'm like, crap, I should have uploaded this to Patreon. So I'll make up for it. You guys are going to get extra. We'll have lots of extras. Yeah, Sarah says you're going to have to do a gorilla series now. You know, I don't know if I've ever painted a gorilla myself, which is weird. I'm definitely going to need to do that. I don't know, what medium do you guys think I should do this in when I eventually do? I have so many plans. How cute is she? Oh my gosh. And the baby. Okay, let's see if we can move. That's pretty too. Look at her. It's like she's deep in thought. She's probably like, son, why are you playing in your urine? Typical mom. Okay. Let's zoom in a little bit more. I'm not even going to edit anything on that. That's fine how it is for now. Let's go ahead and save that. Okay. Now she's sad because she saw what her son was playing in. She's like, really? I'm going to have to clean that mess up later. Okay, cute squirrel, random squirrel who was not holding still, and I did not have the right lens on, so I was like trying to slowly sneak up on him. That's actually pretty cute. Not my best photo in the history of photos, but let's see. At least one of these should be usable. That's cute. Let's see which of the clear ones I'll save as a bonus photo. I'm finding more bonus photos than I'm usable ones. Let's see. We're going through. But look how many of these I took, and most of them are out of focus. He was pretty wiggly. So let's go ahead and save at least one of these. Kind of like that one. Is it in focus? Not really. Wait, was it just not loaded? Nope, just not in focus. I mean, okay, so here's a photo. Just talking about choosing reference photos. You could use, as an artist, you absolutely can take a photo like this, and I've been hired to do this before for pet portraits, where someone had a photo and you can see like around his face, not super in focus at all. So it's not something that you would want to blow up and then put on your wall. But as an artist, I can see all the detail I need, and I'm just going to clean up my edges, make sure it's sharp. So you can take a photo like this and make it in focus. And this is one of the things people will often ask me, what's the point of photorealism? I can fix that photo. I can repaint it and make it realistic. So if somebody hires me, they've got a photo that is cute of their dog, but not good enough to print on canvas. They can hire me to take that lesser than photo and make it look like, you know, super in focus, realism, all of that. So one of many points of realism, and I just like it. Let's see. That's cute. He was rubbing his head on that. That's actually really cute. I'm going to save that one. I'm just going to crop it in a bit, because I really, really like that branch. I'm not even going to edit that. I'm just going to save that. That'll probably be a bonus photo. That's cute too. Oh, so many cute. Okay, moving on. This guy was neat. I don't know what kind of turtle he is, but he was adorable. So I want to pick the best photo before I add it one. So this is what I normally do. If I've got, like, he didn't move. I was the one who moved. So I'm going to pick the one that I felt was, that one actually is pretty good right there. It has the best crop, yeah, I like the ones that are zoomed out a bit more. So let's go back. I hope that one works. So let's pull some of this out. He has algae growing on his shell. You've been in my beta tank, haven't you? Okay, let's see. Let's pull down. Actually, I can pull. Okay, so here's the thing. I can lighten shadows so you can see more of his neck, but it doesn't look very good. I would rather just leave that, I think, as it is there. Maybe hype up the color saturation a teeny bit. Go back to 0. There we go. Actually kind of like that how it is. Let's go color saturation a little bit more. Done. Contrast. Now that is one I would like to hype up a bit more. There we go. Yep. I like him. Now another thing that you can do in Photoshop, let's say I want to make his eye stand out a bit more, pull a little bit more, whether it be brighter, more color, whatever. I can actually paint this in. Let me get a couple questions right now, and then I will come back to this. Elaine said, right now I only have to do graphite, but I'm wondering if pictures with color sell better. More often than not, yes. Not always, but usually, if I believe the last, research changes constantly, but from what I've heard, yes, color, people are more attracted to the color ones. But not always. You're going to have some people who absolutely love only black and whites. My husband's one of those. My husband always prefers black and white. So really, I don't even know if it's more about which sells better as much as it is you find your target audience and you create the work that you love. If you love everything in black and white, then you just need to find the audience that also does. Like I said, my husband prefers everything to be in black and white. So, you know, finding the right audience while creating the work that you love, I think is the most important thing there. Sarah said, someone posted a very adorable drawing of a gorilla to the art group on MeWe. Oh, how cute. I need to make some MeWe posts lately. I haven't really been posting a whole lot to social media in general. Crap, I forgot to post about the live stream to MeWe tonight. I'm a jerk. Oh, Ursi said pan pastels for the gorilla. That is a good idea. I need to do pan pastels again. Veek said, I tried in acrylics to paint a gorilla. Next time I will use pencils. That's funny. Blue Tea Art, what art would you put in a portfolio? The art that I felt was the best example of my work. You don't want to include a bunch of stuff that you're like, don't include things just to have the numbers. The numbers, having a full portfolio, don't matter. That it doesn't impress. I mean, people, you can be like, yeah, I painted 100 things, or I painted, in my case, thousands of things. But they're not going to look through thousands of paintings. They're only going to look at a couple seriously, and then they're going to hand it back to you. Make sure those few they look at are the best of your best, especially in the front. I wouldn't put very many in your portfolio as far as what to put in. You're the best of your best. Okay, so here, I'm going to make his eye stand out a bit more. So what I'm going to do is take this little paintbrush. I'm going to shrink it down because it is way too big. Pull that size way down. I'm going to put the little dot here. And now I am going to, let's see, I'm going to pull up highlights. I'm going to pull up shadows a bit, but I'm going to drop my blacks. Pull up whites, and my color saturation is going to get moved way up. And this is only on this spot that I'm working on. So I'm going to kind of paint that over. Whoops. You can't see because the spot's in the flipping way. But now I can pull up saturation even more just around the eye. And as I adjust things, like I'm going to make the eye a little bit warmer. Pull the tint a little bit more here. And I'm just kind of painting over it almost. And it's going to make it stand out a whole lot more. Let's pull some highlights up. Saturation to haze. Let's pull that up a bit. That really made a big difference, but that's a bit too much. Highlights a bit more. I'm going to go a little bit higher on this. And what I'm doing is just making just his eye pop a bit more than it was. Let's see. I'm not going to mess with that. Okay. And let's go ahead and then just switch back to my normal. It removes it. Now his eye just, it pops a bit more than it did. So you can pick one pinpoint area or a large area and just kind of paint to hype up contrast. Like here's another example. Let's do a new one. I'm going to make the brush a lot bigger so you can see, whoop, not that much bigger, so you can see what it would do. So let's add a dot here, and what I'm going to do to that dot, and this is only on that one, is let's just hype up exposure, for example, which is not, or contrast, not something I would typically do. But look at when I paint over it, see how I can adjust just those areas where the thing is. I'm only adjusting contrast. That same area, if I wanted to like drop blacks down, I can adjust just where I painted over. I don't actually want any of that, so we're going to undo all of that. But that gives you an idea of some of the things that you can kind of paint to adjust specific areas that maybe I just want the bottom needs to be a bit darker. I can do just that and not affect the rest of the canvas or the photo. So that's another thing that you can do. So let's go ahead and save this guy. Oh my gosh, he's adorable. I really like him. Okay, let's move forward. Chameleon. Let's see if I've got any good shots of the chameleon. I wasn't sure on him because the glare was horrible. Let's see. Tasha said, are we able to share reference photos with each other on Facebook page or MeWe? We have a reference photo on Facebook. Did we, Joseph or Michael or Nick, did we ever make one for MeWe? We need to make one. I know we have it on Facebook, but we need to do one for Facebook as well, or MeWe as well. I'm really hoping to move more to MeWe and eventually let go of Facebook altogether. I'm hoping that eventually happens because Facebook is absolutely a horrible platform at this. Whoa, that isn't what I wanted to do at this point. So, yeah, fingers crossed. Let's go ahead and just zoom in on her or him. I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about chameleons. Let's see. Let's hype up the contrast a little bit. Actually, the dehaze will help with the glare a lot. Look at the difference there. All I did is drag the dehaze, and now this is a completely usable, beautiful shot for artwork. So yeah, I'm really happy with that. I don't even need to really edit much. Now, if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to make yellow stand out more. I come down here to my color mixer, highlight yellow. I can adjust, do I want my yellow more with an orange tint? Do I want it more with a green tint? So that's one thing you can do. I'm perfectly happy with where it is. Let's put that back. And then saturation. Let's say I just want to hype up yellow in this piece. I can do that. You've got a lot of things that you can mess with. Luminance, make it brighter. Oh, I kind of do like that a little bit. Let's go a little bit higher on that luminance. Let's go a little bit on the saturation as well. Not too much. And then I want to make my blues in her stand out a little bit more because she's got some really, I keep saying she because there's someone I follow on Facebook who has a chameleon named Shirley who's a female, and I'm just, for some reason I see them now and I associate chameleon means girl. That's not how the world works, but whatever. So I'm going to hype up the color saturation of teal. Look at that. I can either make the teal, take it out completely by desaturating it, or I can hype up the saturation, and now look at that color. How much more fun is that going to be to paint? Because you guys know, I generally want to like hype stuff up, make the color saturation a bit more. So yeah, let's see. Has the MeWe group for selling art been made? It's been made, but we need to get our friends and family to join, people who might be interested in work, people, whoever you know, that might be interested in buying artwork. We need to get more people there. Otherwise, it's not going to be effective until then. So right now, it's just artist posting. Hopefully it'll end up turning to more buyers as well. Mary said, you probably said this before, but are you using an Apple Mac product? No, I don't use any Apple products. I'm not a fan of Apple. Their control issue, they don't work with my video games. I'm just not an Apple person. My friend Stacy is listening to this right now, probably yelling at the screen because she loves Apple. Stacy, you're wrong. But no, I personally use, this is Windows 10. I'm not a fan of that either, but that's what this is. It's a PC. This one is a, what PC is this? I just bought this. This is, or a couple months ago. Why can't I think of the name? I don't know. It's got a rainbow on it. Oh, wait. It's the same as my MSI. Thank you. I had to look at my keyboard. It's an MSI. Elaine said, when choosing the photo, like, for example, a zebra, is it bad if you can't see the pupil or details in the eye? Not necessarily. There are times where that would work for you. More often than not, I want to include that. But there are times where it's just doesn't fit with the composition that you're trying to create or whatever. So normally, yes, but not always. Let's go ahead and save this guy. This is almost certainly going to be one of the 5 to 10 photos. I love that one. Oh, wait, you know what would look good, though? Pull down shadows and blacks for that background. Much better. Okay, save. Let's see. D. Lynn Creative Art said, hi, Lisa. I wanted to know, for those of us who follow your tutorials, are we allowed... Oh, I just answered you this on Patreon before I started the stream. Are we allowed to sell your artwork or prints of the artwork based off your tutorials? Couple things here. I'm glad you brought this up because I can explain it way better than I could type it. One, if you are selling your artwork and making prints, ideally you do not want it to be the same as everybody else's. So if you're following a tutorial, that is not ideal because now you're copying somebody else's artwork, and now you've got the buyers have two choices. Like, I don't know, it just puts, I think, a little bit of extra pressure on you to try to get, like, it'd be harder to get the sale, I think, in many cases. Ideally, you want it to be your own work, but there are times, let's say this photo, we all have copyright, not all of us, those on Patreon when I post it, you know, you'll have rights to use this photo. If I paint the photo, exact the same, you paint the same photo, you have rights to follow the, you know, when I provide the reference photo to you and I'm copying the reference photo, you absolutely have rights to sell and make prints. Now, each individual video that I post on Patreon, I let you know if you have rights or not. because sometimes you won't. Let's say I got a photo from Wildlife Reference Photos. You'd have to buy the photo for them to be able to use it. Now, let's take it another direction. Let's say I took this photo. We both have rights to use this photo. And I painted him on a moon with random fireflies, or, you know, just something completely surreal. I am totally fine with you copying it so that you can learn, but you can't sell or make prints because I hold copyright. If it's something I'm going to sell and make prints, I don't want, you know, I'm not trying to make extra competition for myself on those. But if we both painted it exactly like the photo, we both have rights to this photo. So you and I can make it look exactly the same and we can both sell it, because we both have rights. If I give you rights to a photo, you can copy that photo exactly. If I get all creative and have him sitting there with, I don't know, a caterpillar riding his back and a fairy like poking him, I don't know. I'm looking at things on my desk. I have a fairy. Want to see? She's in a jar. I'm a dork. Oh, I need to dust this. The glass is really foggy from airbrush. Wow, I hadn't noticed how foggy that gotten from airbrush. But anyway, I'm a fairy in a jar. I'm insane. So anyway, you know, if I start adding these extra elements, you can't copy those exact same elements. We both can use the chameleon, but yours would need to be different in order for you to sell or make prints. And in general, whenever you're selling artwork, you really don't want to be selling something somebody else did as much as possible. There's a reason I rarely copy a photograph exactly. Actually, the horse coming up, the one that you asked the question on, that horse, I got the reference photo from Pixabay, and I am copying it pretty exact. So you would have just as much right to sell and make prints of that as I do. So it's one of the answer is it depends. That's helpful. Let's see. Make the chameleon purple, and you can actually just a quick. Well, that's Photoshop. Go back to Lightroom. You can make him purple. I can take this guy and go, you know, tint it all the way over. You've got a lot of options for. Yes, could definitely make him purple. I mean, I don't want him to be purple on this, but could be done. Hold on, make sure that this notification. Wake up, phone. 1 second. Yay! Welcome, Sharon. Sharon signed up for Patreon too. I got a text from my friend Stacy, the one who loves Apple, saying, I am not wrong. All in caps. I'm surprised she didn't flip me off. That's her usual response. Okay, so I think I saved him, but just in case, just go ahead and save him again. Let's see. Whoops. None of these are as good as the one I just had. Yeah, he did not want to open his eye. He was like, no, I'm done. I'm sleeping. Ooh, that's really clear there, though. Yeah, I really just like that first one. These snakes. Okay, so here's an example of what I would not provide to you guys. The composition, the setup of this is absolutely horrible. Like, somebody could probably take this and make it look amazing. I'm not going to be that person. I mean, okay, you could crop it and remove all of this, but it's just not as strong. Like, I'm not in love with anything about this. And I like snakes. I mean, that's not the issue. It's just not a, whoops. Actually, let's straighten that out a bit. It's not, we can kind of make it better. Not really. It still looks terrible. I don't think that makes for a real strong painting or drawing. So, no, we're not going to include, we're going to skip over him. Okay, so this was a photo I took. It's not one that I'm going to provide, but it's also one there have been times where I'm like, oh, I think it'd be cute to draw something on the glass, like when I'm making a surreal thing, like there's glass in front of whatever was behind it. And so I took that photo just in case, but I really don't like that specific one, so I probably won't end up using it at all. But I took a photo just in case. Cute. Really, really large frog. Not the best photo. Some of these I take photos just because my husband was all excited because he saw snakes. This I love. This is one of my favorite snakes. As far as I know, super, super toxic. Like, they kill you. So, not going to be a pet, but that is... I love their scales. Their scales are so gorgeous. I do want to hype up my color saturation. I do want to... Let's pull shadows down a little bit in blacks. Down a lot. Highlights. I'm gonna drop it a little bit. Whites can probably go up a little. I'm gonna save it. It may be a bonus photo. I don't think it's good enough to be one of the 5 to 10, but it still would make for a very interesting photo, I think. He is cute. This may be usable. Let's go ahead and pull out some of the blurry background there. Oops. see. Mary said, thank you, I can't stand, okay, man. Let's see. Whoops, that scrolled too far. 1 second. Lynn Creative Art said, kind of like what I did with the giraffe. I chose graphite versus the light fast pencils used for the tutorial. Yeah, and see, with that one, with the giraffe, I provided the reference photo to you. So you had rights to use that photo either, you know, in that sense. So yeah, you made yours different. That's all, you know, we both had rights to that photo. So yeah, that's a perfect example. You can definitely sell and make prints. And the same thing for those, you know, with the Patreon reference photos in general, you've got rights to use any of, when I provide the photos to you, you guys can use that too to sell and make prints. Let's see. He's kind of not super in focus when I blur it out, but it would still be usable. We could make it in focus as an artist, so it's worth saving. Again, doesn't make my cut for the top 10 to 5 or 5 to 10, but let's go ahead and I'm going to pull shadows down. Actually, I'll pull them up so that I can get the eye, but then blacks will go down. Whites up a bit. Highlights. Yeah, we'll go over about that way. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. Let's see. Diane said, I am not familiar with the Lightroom. If you are familiar with Photoshop Elements, would it have similar features to how you're editing now? I think similar. See, I don't use Elements. I use regular Photoshop and I use Lightroom. And then I think Adobe Premiere Pro are the only real, like, the programs that I use often. I think Elements is like a watered down version, and I could be wrong, so, you know, don't take my word on it, but I think Elements was like an kind of more basic setup. I'm sure that you can do a lot, if somebody else knows, if you can answer, but I think you can do a lot of the same, but not exact. I mean, it's just like Photoshop and Lightroom. They have some similarities, but Lightroom can do a lot more with editing colors and contrast and all of that than what Photoshop can do. They both can do some of the same things, but not all of the same things. Okay, what's next? Cute frog, but not really good reference photo material. Another cute frog. Now let's see. He's got his eyelid half up. That makes it not usable as far as I'm concerned. I didn't even notice that when I was there. Now that one's pretty cute, but I've done so many photos. We'll probably save it anyway. But I provided the side view like this several times, so it's not like the most exciting new photo, but, you know, I'll save it anyway. Still would be fun to paint or draw. So let's see. I'm just going to hype up contrast a bit. Dehaze. It's fine. I mean, let's pull Aqua up a little bit. There's not a lot in there, but some. And I'll save that. Not 5 to 10 worthy, but still cute. Oh, cute turtle. Someone's going to yell at me. It's a tortoise. I call all birds chickens. Why would you think I'd be accurate on anything else? Him, I got some really clear shots of. Let's see. Laura said, with so many options, so many photos that worked, you don't have to worry about photos for the rest of the year. Yay. Unfortunately, no, because I can't just use like 1 month, here's this photo, and here's a photo where the girl is turned slightly this way. Like I try to get something a little bit different. So I usually take photos every single month. It'd be amazing if I could get away with that, but I think people might start to complain. And I can use a lot of these. Luckily, I can use a lot of these photos. Like I only need 10 for the must-have set. So let's say I have 5 really good wildlife photos out of this. I can go buy some roses and take some good macro shots of that. A lot of people seem to like flowers or whatever flowers. It doesn't have to be roses. Roses usually photograph the easiest. Like I get the best photos with them. But that would definitely be a way, like a way to extend this by 1 month. Let's see. These are all very similar. Let me see if any of these are slightly better than the others. I really like this one. Ooh, I kind of like that. No, I like that better. Okay, let's go with this. And I'm not even going to crop this because I don't know what anybody wants out of theirs, but I don't even need to do anything. I like this how it is. I'm just going to save it like that. That was easy. I'll save that one too. what I'm doing, I mean, technically all of these are saved anyway, but the ones that I'm hitting save to are going to a separate folder where I can more easily find the ones that I decided were winners. That's pretty cute angled. Oh, I like that one better. It's so cute. It's way easy. Sometimes it's harder. Sometimes it's easier taking photos and said, oh, his tongue is sticking out. Okay, we have to save that too. Because in here, we're in a more controlled environment. Outside, the sun changes. It's so hard. Here, the lighting doesn't change. So sometimes it's easier. Sometimes it's harder depending on, oh, this guy I really wanted to get. On factors, I don't know, my brain shut up. Or it's turned off, which is pretty normal. 1 second. Oh, welcome, Patricia, if you're here, who also joined Patreon tonight. Okay, let's see. Which one of these can I fix? Oh, I like the lighting on this one. So what I'm looking at here, completely, like, the glare was horrible, but that one's better. But here, it's fairly clear, and I really like that I can see enough detail on the eye. So I think when I edit this, I'm going to be able to see a fair amount. Let's go ahead. I'm going to use dehaze. Usually is what a difference. Look at that one thing, because he's behind glass. So what a difference that makes in, I mean, that just fixed a lot. So let's pull up my shadows a little bit. So I can see what I'm looking for is detail in his eye, but I can pull blacks down. And look how much more clear it looks. So what happens when you pull shadows up, that usually are the areas where you're seeing details and stuff. If shadows drop down, and I'll show you that here, pull shadows down and I lose a lot of the detail in, like, the background. I'm pointing my screen like, you know, like you can see it. You can't, hopefully, unless you're stalking me. But if I pull the shadows up, look at the difference in his eye, how I start seeing that line right in the middle. I can see his pupil by pulling that up. But I have blacks down. Blacks, I can still, unless I go too dark, I can still see the detail in the eye. You can see more there, but it starts looking kind of foggy. But just dropping blacks down a little bit, shadows up, whites too much. See, I mean, all of this can really affect everything, but the whites can stay pretty much where they were. Yeah, I kind of like that one. That one would be a really fun one to paint. Especially if you, I think in this one, if you put a few more water ripples along the line, like a white line kind of going through around like the shiny marks you see on the tree behind him, if you put some of that right up against his face, little ripples in the water, that would be an amazing painting. So let's go ahead and save this. Now here's the thing too. A lot of people will be like, well, alligators or crocodiles, I can't tell the difference. Can I call them water chickens? I don't know. You may look at that and go, not that many people would be interested in that. The thing is, not that many people paint them. So when you have, let's say there are 20 people who are interested in alligators versus 20,000 who are interested in horses. There are a million, like every artist is like, oh, I'm going to paint the horses. Now I paint horses because I think they're fun, but I'm going to paint the horse because that's what's going to sell. The alligator, there are so many artists, like the market is very saturated. If you can get yourself painting things that there aren't a lot of, you are one of few who are painting the alligator or crocodile versus the 20,000 painting the horse. It's easier for somebody to find your art. You're going to stand out a little bit more. When I was doing pet portraits, I really focused, I mean, for one reason, I have Italian Greyhounds, but I focused on those. The breed is fairly uncommon. You don't, actually, I saw one in my apartment yesterday, which was odd. You don't see those that often. But somebody, you know, there may not be that many people who own Italian Greyhounds, but there aren't that many artists painting Italian Greyhounds either. So those few people were just like, really wanted to find artists who would paint the animals or the breed that they had when I sold prints and such. So it's don't feel like because you think it's not popular, it won't ever sell. Because it's not popular might be the reason you find the right buyer, because there aren't enough people painting that subject. Okay, let's see. Laura said, with so many photos that you were... Oh, wait, nope, got that one. I'm way behind. Whoops. And then I just scrolled too far. Missed everything. Okay, Tayan said I'm right. The Elements is a watered-down version of Photoshop. So, yeah, not going to be quite the same. Solar Sun said, the snake looks like it has two forearms. Actually, well, one of them wasn't a snake. If we go back, this guy's not a snake. He actually has two forearms, if that's the one you were talking about. He's a lizard. I may have called him a snake because I'm dumb. Okay. I say dumb stuff anyway. Let's see. Okay, good. I think we're mostly caught up. Bryson said, have you tried the Neo Color 2 by Caran d'Ache? I have not. That and the Faber-Castell watercolor pencils are my most two favorite art supplies. I have not tried those, and they look amazing. Elaine said, that's true. I used a tiger from Pixabay and I just saw another artist did the same one. Yeah, whenever, like, if I'm using the same reference photo, I want to try to make it a little different. We all get our photos from Pixabay, so if everyone's painting the owl the exact same way, how am I going to stand out and get someone to buy mine versus 80 other people who use the same thing? I want to try to make it unique. Now, sometimes I just want to copy it exact because I think that's going to be fun. Like the horse that I'm going to do. The one that I'm starting tomorrow, actually. But, did I save this? I don't even remember. Let's save it again just in case. Yeah, if we can possibly make ours unique, that's definitely the way to go. Here we have a frilled lizard. These are the ones their frills poof out and they run on their hind feet, which is really funny to watch. None of these photos are super, it's okay. Let's see if I can fix it up a bit. Not really in love with this. I don't, maybe somebody will though. Let's see if I can pull down, pull up shadows, pull down blacks, get contrast up a bit. I guess it's okay. Let's pull down highlights. So see here how the top of the head, you can't even see any details. Watch when I pull down the highlights, I can take something that's overexposed and now I can see detail. Now it actually looks way more interesting to me. Now I like it better. So I want to make the oranges a little bit, the saturation of the oranges a little stronger on him. So we'll just pull that up. Okay, let's go ahead and, I guess that's savable. I mean, it's not my favorite, but it works. Louisiana pine snake. I have to take photos of the sign so I know what was what. He's kind of cute. That one might be, I mean, he's cute, but the photo might be something that somebody wanted if it was super zoomed in. Let's see if it's even enough detail to... If we really zoom in, would this be even remotely... Whoops. Probably not. Maybe somebody would like it. I don't know. Let's go ahead and... I can see me in the reflection of his eye. I mean, maybe. Nope, too much. Blacks a little bit more. That could be interesting, especially with the blacks darker.
Should I play the song a little bit more?
No. I didn't talk to you. Shut up. My Amazon device that I'm not going to say her name because she thinks I'm talking to her. Let's see. Save to... What version of Lightroom am I using? I have Lightroom 4 and I love it. I'm using whatever the newest one is. So I used to, like, Photoshop 7 was the one I had forever. Now the way that Adobe works, you get a subscription. So it's like you always have the newest one. You just pay monthly. So yeah, did I save that? I don't even remember. My memory is that bad, yes. Okay. It's kind of cute. He is super plump. I got some really good shots of him. Let's see, that one actually looks fine. Let's go ahead and... I don't really need to do anything to this. We're just going to save that one. That one's fine how it is. Actually, wait, let me see if I hype up contrast just a bit if I like it better. Yeah, I do like that better. Okay, saving now. There's his full body, which actually I do want to save just because if somebody was interested in these, I figured here's a shot of his full body, which, I mean, it's not like some amazing photo in itself, but if somebody was doing a whole scene and they wanted to include one of these, I do want to make that available. I'm going to hype up contrast a little. I hear something outside. I think my patio chicken is out there. It's so funny. We're already at 9:30 and we are like, I've barely touched the photos I've taken. There are so many. That's weird. Those are 2 chickens. I got some good ones. This guy has an injured wing. So really to paint him, I would want to kind of crop that a bit. Well, I guess he could just be holding it out, or it would look that way in the painting, but I do know he has a bit of an injury. And so he's kind of a permanent residence there, which is really cool that they found him and could rescue him. Let's go ahead, crop that nicely. Now notice when I do this with the roll of thirds, see how I keep pulling one of those 3 corners on the eye of whatever the subject is. If that means I have a longer canvas and more blank background, that's fine. It just balances it out. Do you have to always follow the roll of thirds? Absolutely not. It's just an easy kind of cheat way to make sure that everything's fairly imbalanced. There are times that it will look way better if you don't follow the roll of thirds. It just depends, but that's kind of a quick, easy way to make sure it looks nice. So with him, I definitely want to lighten up around the eye a bit, but I want to hype up the contrast too. So I'm going to have to do a couple of things here probably to get this to look where I want. I'm going to hype up, I'm going to do dehaze a bit, and I'm going to pull my blacks down. I'm going to pull my highlight down as well. See how now I can see details in the feathers in front of his face? When it was up, it was just black, blown out. So I'll pull those down a bit, but I can let my whites be bright. I just don't want them to do that. Now his eye is too dark, so what I'm going to do is that thing I talked about earlier, this little paintbrush thing here. I'm going to make it really little. I'm going to put that in his eye, which means I can't see it. Actually, I'm going to move that a bit. And I'm going to pull the shadows way up. Blacks are going to come, well, blacks will probably stay about the same. Let's just go over this a little bit. And I'm just painting, basically, lightening this whole area up, because while I wanted the rest to be darker, I lost what was in his eye. So I'm just going to go back over that until I get it where I want. Now I can kind of sit over here and mess with this a bit. Let's pull shadows up even more now that it's all painted in. Pull whites up a bit more in that area. See, I don't want to do blacks too much because I still want the darks to be dark. I just don't want them that much. Let's go. Contrast is already up. I think that works. Okay. And the orange, I'm going to hype up the saturation of the orange just a touch. That works. Let's go ahead and save that. That one will probably be one of our top 5 to 10. That one I actually really like how that came out. Let's see. Liu said, what is the hardest part about starting maintaining my YouTube channel? I would say consistency at this point. I started doing better editing, and now because of that, it takes so much longer that I don't end up uploading as often. And so I've been, actually my friend Stacy that is wrong about her love of Apple. We were talking about that just the other day, kind of brainstorming ideas that I could have more content without as much editing. And so one of the things that we came up with was when I move, I'm going to have an office set up where my video cameras, everything's kind of set up all the time, I'm hoping. So maybe an extra live stream, maybe just a quick Q&A, like answer a Q&A live without the editing, just a quick, maybe extra weekly 30-minute live stream or something. I don't know. We were talking about doing some stuff like that. So that, I would say that's the biggest challenge for me right now, is getting more uploads. Right now, so much work goes into everything. There's so much that you have to do. I feel like I'm always behind. So that is definitely, I would say would be the biggest challenge, is getting really consistent. Well, there's some good angles here, but I need to upload more for sure. This guy has a bald head. Somebody picked on him. He also told me off for being over there. I don't know what these guys were, but I didn't get any good shots. That I knew. Okay, big kitties. Now here, you can kind of see where it's fuzzy in rows. That's because they were behind, there's the chain link fence. And so trying to get a photo where it kind of was, yeah, that was a bit of a challenge. Not good enough for a poster or something like that, but good enough for art. So let's go ahead and dehaze that. That can help some. This one's not amazing. Could I use it? Yes. Will it make my top 10? I don't know. Part of me wants to because I've not provided many photos of these guys before. It's hard to get good photos of them. And I really like this. But let's pull the color up a bit. Yeah, I'm not sure on that. We'll see. Ford Farm Studios said, just typing lighten I and you say. Thanks, Uncle 60. Oh, he said coffee money. I love you. You're my favorite person right now. I always want coffee money. That was too sweet. Let's see. Scroll back up a bit. We've got Clarence said, there truly is a wealth of reference photos on Pixabay. I'm starting to look through them. Yeah, that site, and it just gets better and better all the time. The only thing you have to watch occasionally, like the horse photo that we're going to be painting for the one that I'm starting this week, that one, it looks like it was cropped weird. And then I'm like, that photo is too good. And I did a reverse image, Google image search, and I found it's on a photographer's website. And I'm like, ooh, do they have rights to do that? But the website wasn't in English. It was really hard for me to tell. I know what Google Translate did, which butchers translations, said something about asking for rights and all this stuff on their website. But then it looks like it was actually their account that uploaded that photo to Pixabay. But you have, that's the only real complaint I have on Pixabay, is you occasionally get people who just are like, I'm just going to steal this photo over here so that I can upload and be fancy. I don't know. I don't know why they think that makes them fancy, but yeah, that's the only real negative about it. But overall, that site is just amazing. Okay, this one, it's almost blurry everywhere, which might make it better because it'll be more evenly spaced. Let's see. I'm not sure. I'll have to, let's go through and see which are the best of the blur. Not that one. I don't like how her ears are positioned. So, okay, this is an example of one that I would not likely use, not because it's not clear, which it's not because of the fence in front of me, but because look how her arms are in front of her. It just kind of looks weird. If you painted it just like this, it's going to look like, I mean, her ears, her arms, it just, yeah, it's accurate, but it doesn't look good. So you've got to go by what's visually appealing a lot, not just by, I have this photograph, I want to paint a mountain lion. Here's a photograph. This is all I found. Like, yeah, but it's not very good. So that would be, an example of position-wise why, one I would not choose. Paige said, I'm buying myself the Derwent Lightfast 7210. They are on sale where I am in Canada, $377. Now is $236. Wow. Did you get to try the new set, and how did you like it if you did? I have not. I probably have to contact them. I don't know when they are in the U.S. Usually that's when they send me some, or maybe they forgot about me. I'll just ask them. Sooner or later I'll get them. Elaine said, I'd watch you just chatting or giving your thoughts on things. My random thoughts. Sarah said, there's also the fact that we artists can often only make one thumbnail at a time since the picture that will be in our next one doesn't exist yet. What are you talking about? I missed something, Sarah. What did I miss from you? Or what do I not remember about me saying? This fact that we artists often only make one thumbnail at a time since the pic that will be in our next one doesn't exist yet. Because we haven't made the piece. I'm not sure where you're going with that. I think I missed part of your question. I apologize. Okay, let's see. Let's go ahead and see if any of these other ones were better. Oh, okay. Now, kind of weird with her paws out, but I like that she's cleaning herself. I don't know. That's kind of a cute photo too. Better than that. I mean, there is a big difference. So even though her arms are out, there's an example of one that I might use. Especially if I kind of cropped it. Nah, if I crop it, it's not any better that way. But that one is much more visually appealing than that. So it's not just her arms, the positioning of her head, that has just a nicer flow to it than the arms straight out. Gail said, what is the lowdown on submitting photos to Pixabay? I'm not sure. I mean, it's not really something you make money on. It's like people who are just cool and like, here's a photo I took that I'm not using. You guys can have it. So that's the extent of what I know. I'm not sure. That's not helpful at all to you. You're welcome. Oh, yeah, we're going to save that. I really do like that. That is just, yeah, yes. I'm saying yes to that. Let's go ahead and, whoops, nope, don't do that. That's not what I'm trying to move. I don't know if I want to crop off her butt. Well, I'm just going to go ahead and leave that. I'll just leave it as it is. We won't worry about the crop, but I do want to, I'm going to pull blacks down. And like you can see where it's kind of fuzzy. This is what I don't like. You can definitely see where it's fuzzy because of where the fence was, but being an artist, we can, that's not a problem for us. We can clear, like that'll be clean in our work. So yeah, no problem there. Pull the orange and the magenta up a bit. I'm going to go ahead and save that. Now that one, so even though this one isn't like, you know, it's a little out of focus where the blurry lines are just a little bit, it still may make my top 10 because it's the positioning, like there is some element of interest in it, at least to me. Wait, which one do I like better? That one with more tongue. That sounds weird. Let's see. So we were playing with that one. I'm going to come back and mess with this a bit more. Clarity. Why is clarity up there? Pull that down. I don't even know why I did half the stuff I did to this one. Yeah, I can pretty much see what I need to see to make that one happen. Let's go ahead and crop. I mean, it won't be the highest resolution photo ever because I am cropping a lot of it, but it is usable. I don't know. I'm going to save it. Someone might want to use it. Actually, why did I save that one? This one I like even better. Let's see if I can kind of do something about the fence lines there. That actually works. Okay, that is usable. That one is one of my favorites of this one here. I wouldn't include the paw because it's cut off. It looks weird. If you painted it that way, people are like, what the heck is that? Does she have a tumor? Because it's not the whole thing, so it doesn't make sense. So I would crop that. Yeah, we'll save that. Okay. Pacing kitty. This kitty wanted to eat the critters that were across from it that I said I didn't know what it was. Ooh, now that came out pretty weirdly clear. I wasn't expecting that. That was such a quick shot. Oh, even better. So look at the head. So I talked about, you know, I mentioned in the description, whatever, talking about choosing which photo and why I would choose one or another. This is a good example. See how the head right now, you've got this straight line and it just kind of pulls me off the page completely. Now, I would not include the light area. I would change that and continue the water going across. This is just cement off to the side, like by where his head is. So that just continue the water through that. But see how it just kind of straight line, beak, neck, wing, gone. This does not draw your attention into the piece. Clear photo, absolutely. Worth keeping? Yes, just because if I have another photo that's not quite as in focus as this, I can come back to this one. But this, slightly better. Look at the difference there. Straight arrow line, a little bit more of an interesting angle. Well, I kind of like the front of the beak. Maybe if I cropped it. But, whoops, wrong way. That one I definitely like better. Well, that one's a straight line. I kind of like that, but I like that one a little bit better, kind of. See if any of these are. Oh, I like that with his beak in the water. I wish his buddy wasn't photobombing, but I do like the beak in the water. I don't like how dark the face is. I could lighten that up though. Now that one, okay, let's look at that one. This one and this one. Which one is more visually appealing? Where is your attention drawn? If you paint this, it doesn't matter that the photo is super clear. What matters is the fact that, let's say you paint it, it's perfect, it's exact, you went with the photorealism, and you paint it, someone's going to look at this, let's say they're drawn to the eye, and that arrow is just going to draw them right off the canvas. There's nothing that pulls them back up. When you're painting something, ideally, you want to have kind of a flow that keeps you within that canvas. This one just, even if you start at the eye, you've got a highlight on the end of the wing, which is making it even worse. It really just, your eye is just going to drop right off that canvas, or the viewers will. But when we go over to, which one was it, this guy? this is a much more flattering, you know, you can keep the viewer within the canvas a lot better. Now his face needs to be lit up. Jacqueline, do I upload some of my pictures to Pixabay? Nope, not at all. I give those to Patreon. If I'm gonna do bonuses, they go to Patreon. But this one is much, much more visually appealing. So let's go ahead and get some of this out. But no, I wonder if it was with Patreon or Pixabay has you upload. I may have at one point uploaded one photo at some point just so that I could. You had to do something with an account. I forget what. In order to get good photos from everyone else, I think they encourage you to upload at least one. So maybe at one point I did one, but that would have been it. Let's see. Okay, so I like the way the light is hitting the feathers. I don't like how dark the head is. That is the negative here. Clear enough. You can definitely paint from this, but that is just not right. So let's go ahead and we're going to highlight the head. This is too small now. A little bit bigger. We're going to come in here. I'm going to pull. This is actually already about where I would want it to be. Saturation probably not needing to be that high. And I just kind of paint over it. I'm just going to drag my brush and look how I can brighten that right up in the area that I need it to be. And so even though his head is more in shadow, I can pull that. Oh, that saturation is too much though. I can brighten it up so it's still a good photo. We can fix that up quite a bit. Blacks can stay a little bit darker. I don't need those as bright as I've got them. Whoops. Undo. I dragged my brush where it wasn't supposed to go. I drop contrast down a little bit. I think that's a bit too high. I can even pull exposure up a little bit more, which I don't do often, but in this case, because his head was in shadow, and look at how now, even though he was in shadow, this would work really well for a painting. And this will probably be one that we use for Patreon, one of the 5 to 10. This one really came out nice. Of course, I would crop it a bit more. Like if I were painting this, because his foot is cut off, I would just focus on the body and just pull all of that in. I don't like that crop. Actually, I think I'm going to leave more of the water just so any artist who wants to paint this will actually cut this way. That's a better fit. But that way, any artist who wants to paint it can see where the ripples, what that would look like to continue on. So that looks like a better crop. Yep, there we go. Let's go ahead and save that. Oh, AG said the one I didn't know was it looked like a Codamundi. I think that's, I don't think I'm saying that right, but I think you were right. I think that's what it was. That sounds really familiar. So again, you can see these two photos were almost the same when I started. And look at here, look at the dark head, light head. Look at how just by adjusting, painting those details and using that paintbrush type tool, how you can make one area, you know, brighten that up a lot. That one's kind of cute too. I kind of like his positioning there. That does not look like the most convenient beak to preen yourself with. These are a lot of an otter of really bad shots. I could not get good photos, and it was so hot and humid where where we could see them that, yeah, I couldn't stay there any longer. Wait till you guys see. Actually, I'm going to skip ahead because I really, oh my gosh, look at this. I've barely even, if you look at the little arrow where I am, like I have so many photos to go through. But I want to skip ahead to the flamingos, which were the first that I was taking pictures of. They had baby flamingos. The mom was like, oh my gosh, so cute. We're just going to skip all of these. I have gosh, this is going to take me forever to go through. Whoops, I skipped too far. I want to see the baby flamingos. Whoops, that is not on this one. That was a different trip. Come on, where are the flamingos? I really skipped too far. Okay, so I don't have that many more, I guess. Oh my gosh. That was last month's photos. I didn't realize I had all of the Lightroom stuff. There were, yeah, lots of photos from last month. Okay, here we go. We're going to start here and go backwards now. Okay, so we have some of these guys. Seriously, is that not the most adorable? And I got a bunch of really cool photos like this. I would completely recommend change the background into something, you know, else. You could be on a beach, you know, make that cool. But how adorable is the mom and baby? And I got a bunch of babies. So, let's go ahead and crop that a bit. But like seriously, so many's, and so many's, not many's, many. Can't talk. Okay, I am tired. Let's go. I'm going to change my color saturation a bit. Not that much. Oh, it starts looking weird. Let's pull my highlights down some. My highlights are too strong. So what's happening? See, everything's just like overexposed there. So let's pull my highlights down a lot. Whites can be up a bit. Blacks are going to come down. And contrast can go up a little. Like, this is how adorable of a painting, because that's not something you see that often, and that's the thing. You often see the finished, you know, adult flamingos. You don't see the cute little frumpy gray ones. And I thought that would be such a neat, like, I was so excited. There were so many, so many baby flamingos out, hanging out with their moms. Oh my gosh, so cute. Baby Panda says, those corrections you made on the spoon bill is incredible. What a difference. That program is wonderful. Thank you for showing us what is possible with that program. I'm glad I could help. I went years without this program, and I can't believe it, because it's amazing. And it's not that hard to learn. That was the thing. I did watch some tutorials, and some of the tutorials I think made more difficult. I just had to kind of jump in and start experimenting with stuff. But no, it wasn't as hard to learn to use as I thought it would be. I had a harder time learning Photoshop initially than I did Lightroom, because Lightroom, if you've been using Photoshop, a lot of the settings, a lot of the terms, very, very similar. I mean, throughout any photo editor, the terms are going to be similar, but it was way easier. Birds Farm Studio said, okay, I admit it. How many flamingos how many flamingos did you or are you going to try to sneak into your new yard? All of them. All of the flamingos. Although, they smell really bad. Like, really bad. So that right there may make them not the best chicken fit. I'll stick with my chicken. Flower Farm Artist said, yeah, I see a pair of legs in the background. Yeah, there are going to be a lot of legs on these guys. The background are feathers. They're molting right now. That's why one of the reasons they look so frumpy. But yeah, those are just loose feathers. It is definitely not trash. And can you see the tiny, tiny baby? The little teeny, tiny white floof in the background? I've got more photos of this. So let's save that. Most of the photos I took were of these guys. Oh my gosh, how am I going to choose which is which? I think that one is better. I just took photo after photo after photo, because you never know. One may be, you just don't know when you're going to get that perfect shot. That's the thing with animals. Like, if you're taking still life, you're going to take more time. Lighting is right, you know, adjusting everything just perfect. When you're shooting animals, it's just hit or miss if you get a good one. You just have to take a million photos and hope you get a good one. And be patient. Sarah Makes Art said, I've heard about batching thumbnails. I don't know how that would work as an artist. We're not using, so I have no idea how that would work, Sarah. I can't even think of how to make that work. Stilt walker chickens, yes. These are definitely stilt chickens. That one's really cute too. Let's go ahead and, that's kind of a neat angle. I like the shadow on the baby a lot. Let's crop that a bit. I'm going to make the focal point on that right where their beaks are there. And I like that you can see both of their legs. You can see them underwater. I would not include the feathers. I wouldn't include the cement on the side. You know, I would turn that into something else. But this is definitely, let's go with dehaze a bit. Now, the thing that I'm not super in love with, I think the face is a little bit on the dark side. So when I painted this, I'd probably pull a bit more highlights there. I could do that to the baby as well. Honestly, I'm getting so tired from looking at this that it does get to the point when you're editing photos. I've been sitting here for 2 hours, and I'm losing sight of everything. So I'm starting to make not the best judgment calls. I definitely, it's going to be time for a break, and I'll come back to this probably tomorrow, but not on the live stream, but just myself. Yeah, I'll probably come back and edit that guy in a bit. I just have to remember I have to save all the flamingos. Oh, he's cute too at that angle. That one's actually a bit better, I think, with the lighting. Let's see what we got. See how, no, this is going to be a good one. Look how overexposed that is. Watch what happens. I'm going to drop my shadows. I'm going to drop my highlights. Okay, never mind. This photo's bad no matter what. But you can adjust some of this to make it a little, let's pull the whites down. Oh, this is not helping that much. This is just a bad photo. Drop the exposure a bit. Usually it'll help a little bit more, but that's just, you know what? If I had a raw file, I could probably make that better. Never mind. We're not even going to mess with that. It's just terrible. And this is why you want to shoot raw, because when you shoot raw, you can affect, like okay, so what's happening right now, let's see if I can explain this in a very simple way. I have a JPEG file. JPEG does not have as much information as the RAW file. A RAW file is much, much larger. So where I'm trying to correct where it's overexposed right there, on a RAW file, it's recorded. It has the information of where those details are when I edit it. In a JPEG, they're just not there. So what's happening, when I drop those shadows, the highlights, see how it's just kind of, the computer's like, I don't even know what's in this file. The information is not there. On a raw file, it would have most likely been there. So that's one. This is the first example of an issue I've had with having shot JPEG this day, because I screwed up. Normally I would recommend shooting both, and that is something, how overexposed the highlight is on his head. I could make this photo usable for myself, but this is a great example of why shooting raw, I could edit and fix that overexposure on that flamingo that I just can't fix quite the same with JPEG. Oh, Forward Suya. Yeah, I just answered that. It was a mistake. I reset my camera. I was having problems with it last month for the last month reference photos, and I didn't realize that I turned off raw. I don't know. I have to go back and change it, and I forgot to do it before. I didn't remember till the end of shooting this day. And normally it's not that big of a deal. I mean, it's always better to shoot raw, because here's a case. That's a photo I can't really correct right to the extent that I would like, because the file just doesn't have the information that a raw file would. So Lightroom's like, I'm out. I don't know what to do with this. I'm out. So yeah, shoot raw whenever possible. It was just a mistake. Gail said, just curious, what size card is in your camera, and did you fill it up? I don't know. Where is it? This is the card. What was this one? This one was a 128 gigabyte. No, I did not fill it up. Well, I'm only shooting JPEGs. It doesn't take up much space compared to RAW. But no, I've never filled one up completely when I do the 128s, or even when I've done 64 gigs. I don't think I've filled them completely, because I usually spend about 2 to 3 hours shooting. 1 second. Let me check my phone and make sure these are not... That is not. Let me double check. Oh, nope. I'm being flipped off by my friend. That's what I expect. The one who likes Apple. Wrongly so. She's wrong about everything. Let's see. Yeah, Gail is right. Even though RAW eats up more space, I always shoot RAW. You should always shoot RAW. And this is the perfect example. I'm glad that this happened, because it was kind of hard for me to explain why you would go with RAW over JPEG. And this one, if that was in RAW, I would have no problem dropping down highlights. And as I'm editing, I forget that these are all JPEGs, so I don't have as much control. So, I mean, I've got plenty of good photos, so it's not a waste. I mean, I've got other ones that are good, but that one would have been an example of something I could have fixed if it was a raw file. That is way overexposed. Okay. Look how cute these babies are. Oh my gosh. Ah, that right there is like, that's the photo. That is, I like the crop. I like that one a lot. Okay, let's go ahead. And even if you're working in JPEG, you can still edit. You can still use Lightroom. It just doesn't have as much information as, you are somewhat limited in comparison. Okay, let's go with, I want to hype up contrast a bit. I'm going to pull this a little bit away from the greens here on the tint. Do the same thing with the temperature. Pull it down a little bit more. Kind of cool that off a bit. I don't really need to do a whole lot on that. I'm going to pull the blacks down a little bit more. Shadows a bit more. Yeah, that works. Gail's never filled up a card either. Yeah, I mean, I take a lot of photos, but apparently not that many. See, and here's another one with that overexposed area. I can help it some, just not as much as I would like. So lots of different angles of this guy being fed or begging for food. I don't know if mom was actually feeding. So flipping adorable. Ooh, that's kind of a neat photo. It's a little bit out of focus, but I like that with the green and the bit of feathers. I like that. I would probably do this more for a sketchbook than I would like a full painting. It is a bit out of focus. It's not the best photo in the history of photos, that's for sure. I'm going to pull the blues up and the luminance up on the beak. Let's go ahead. Yeah, I mean, that's good. I like it for a sketchbook project, so I'm going to save it anyway. Or maybe just a bonus Patreon one. Look at the baby. I mean, maybe not the best photo in the history of photos, but dear God, he's adorable. Here's mom standing over the baby. Actually, I don't know if that's even mom or dad. One of the parents. I don't know if both flamingos take care of the babies or not. But I got some cute, let's see. This one I thought was really cute. So you need to change the background and such, but see the little white lump by the wing? Yeah, that's baby's head sticking out. Super cute. And that mom was all kinds of telling all the other flamingos to get away from her and her baby. Let's crop that a bit. Like she was staying, while sitting on the baby, she was still like fighting with the other flamingos at the same time. So it's kind of weird. I don't know that I would paint that. I actually like the flamingo. Maybe not include the baby because it's kind of a weird angle for the baby. Let's see what else we've got. But I really like the way the lighting is on her. I like that she's sitting down because that's not something you see that often when I get flamingo photos. I don't typically get this angle that well. So I have a feeling those will end up being some I use. If I were to paint it myself, probably, I don't know if I don't think I'd include the baby. I think it would just look like a weird lump of white. See, there she is telling everybody off to get away from her and her kid. Oh, babies. Okay, we have to use those at some point too. So let's go ahead and crop those. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. What are you doing? You should hit the buttons you intend to hit. They are really cute. I'm going to pull the highlights down a bit. Let's go ahead and save that. Oh, I forgot. I wasn't going to save photos for the flamingos yet. Let's go through a few more of these and then we'll wrap up just because there's some cute shots that ooh, definitely some good duck shots. I need to add that baby's head sticking out again. Look at that baby was just like starting to walk around and kind of falling over. I think I've got more of that baby. Oh, nice. That one's a nice one for a flamingo. Ooh, that one's even better. So let's talk about real quick these ones. It's just the slight change in position. This one is upright a little bit. This one's just slight angle down. I just think it's more visually appealing. Very little difference. I don't really have a good reason on why. I'm looking in the wrong area. Why I think it's more visually appealing. It just draws me in a little bit more. Ooh, that's nice. Here's the mom. Now, I got some with this mom's head with that tiny, tiny baby that I thought were really neat for zooming in. I thought this would be so cute with just the feet and her head and her baby. And I definitely got a lot of these, so there will be some with different angles, but this is definitely going to be something that I use. What a unique flamingo photo that you just do not get that often when you're looking for reference photos. Like, I love that. So hopefully I get some with different angles. Yep, so her head here versus her head here. See how it's turned to the side? This one makes for a much stronger photo. It's just a more interesting angle instead of just straight on. Let's go ahead and crop that down because I'm pretty sure this is going to be one of the 5 to 10 photos. Really, really liking this. How cute are they? Okay, I'm way too excited about this one. I definitely see myself painting this. What am I doing? I'm too tired. I'm going to just scroll through and kind of crop some of these. I'm not going to edit anymore because my brain is really not working. Oh, dear God. Look at the baby's feet sticking up. The cuteness is killing me. Maybe that's why my brain stopped working. I actually died of cuteness. Seriously. Like, that is absolutely adorable, and I'm pretty sure needs to be painted by everybody. Cute, but I don't like that her face is that much in front of the baby. Although that's kind of neat, but almost looks like she's warning people off, or other flamingos. Oh my God, she looks like she's giving her a kiss. So I'm so glad these came out. I was pretty excited when I saw these, or when I was taking the photos. Like, what a freaking amazing photo opportunity. Forest Farm Studio said you could also use the mom sitting on the nest with the chick's head peeking about and use this baby for reference photo so it's looking up. Such a good point. Yes, you can combine all of these. No, good point there. What zoo did I go to? This one was Fort Worth. Baby starting to learn to clean himself. Mom helping. That's a pretty cute one too. That one works as well. Like, there are a lot of really good shots in here. I'm so glad we got to see these. I've never seen the baby flamingos in person before, so that was a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, that's cute too. I'm gonna crop. What I've done when I'm cropping these, it kind of makes it easy for me to remember these are definitely the ones I need to come back to. The baby's not as in focus, but we could clean that up, especially if we took one of the photos where the baby was more in focus. Right here, the camera was focused on the mom, which was slightly back, but we could fix that. Oh, even better. That is, oh my gosh, way better photo there. I'm just like, super excited to have something that is so unique for how much I love flamingos and love painting them. This gives us an opportunity to do something that's just completely different than every other flamingo photo we see everyone painting. So I think that's going to make for some really cool paintings and drawings. I don't know why I'm saving this. I haven't edited it yet. I'm really tired. Okay, let's see. Let's just scroll through a couple more. So cute. Oh, that's a pretty one. Very pretty one. Not so pretty. His eyes kind of... His pupil is not open. The baby again. Random duck. Whole lot here. So these are going backwards. These ones are random bird. These ones aren't as good. But anyway, that is it for tonight. We are after 10 p.m. and I'm done. Thank you guys so much for joining. Make sure to check out our moderators channel. They have links in the description for Nick and brain shut off again. Nick and Joseph. They both have art channels here. And thank you guys so much for joining. On Patreon, you guys will have these photos probably this weekend because I need to, as you can see, it takes a while to edit these. So I've got to go through, pick out some of the best, and save some for bonus photos for later on. And if you're interested in Patreon, links are in the description below, as well as our links for our Facebook page, our art group, and our MeWe page, which I strongly recommend over Facebook. It's like Facebook when Facebook used to be good, and they're really big on privacy. So added bonus to MeWe there. All those links are in the description. Let's see. Baby Panda said, if we join on Patreon first, will we get these photos? Yeah, you'll still get these photos just because I usually upload them like mid to end of the month. I'm always like a little bit behind on those. So yeah, Baby Pandas, you'll still get them if you sign up after or September 1st. I probably will take down, that's actually a really good question. I will probably take down, because I still have June up right now because I was so late getting July's up. But I'll take down June and July at the end. Actually, July I'll probably wait to take down a little bit longer just because those didn't get up till the very end of July. I'll take those down. These ones will probably be this weekend, hopefully, if all goes well. My new phone comes tomorrow, so I have to spend a day getting all of that put together, so that's going to set me back. Everyone gets excited for new phones. I am excited, but it's a lot of work to get everything set up again. But anyway, yes, these photos will still be up, and actually, technically, there's a very good chance July's will still be, go grab July's too. If you sign up September 1st, if July's are still there, double check, just kind of scroll through the posts and grab those for yourselves too. But that is it. Yes, it is August, and my July's are still there. That's why I keep talking about July. July's photos haven't been taken down. I just uploaded them at the end of July, so now August has to go up. But I would like for August to go up at the beginning of August, but that's not how I roll anymore. Everything's always late. Anyway, you'll still be able, June and July are still up. Grab those now if you're on. I will be pulling June down really quickly. Well, probably going to forget. Let's be realistic. They'll come down eventually. Anyway, go get them if they're available to you guys. I will talk to you later. Also, patrons, if you have not already, make sure to hook up your account to the Discord. If you like to group chat, I have that. It's right here. Actually, you can see. Here's our group chat. There's only a couple of us in there right now. Everyone else is offline. But it's kind of a fun we have where we're sharing photos of our pets and work in progress. Oh, look, there's my baby. Well, my husband's baby, Danger Noodle. Works in progress. And we've got some easy place to share finished paintings. Look how awesome these are. So anyway, the instructions are on a recent post of how to set up Discord. If you're not sure of how to do that, you will just sign up. Go to discord.com or .org. I don't remember what it is. Download Discord, get that set up already, and then there's instructions over on Patreon on how to link your account. If it doesn't work, let me know, because I know there were some problems, and I'll just send you a direct link. But it's weird because you don't want to set up a direct link because then it's not connected to your Patreon account. It's kind of weird. So if you can get it to work through Patreon, great. But it's kind of a fun way that we can chat in addition to MeWe and all of the other stuff. So anyway, we chat about random stuff a lot. You can also see when I'm playing Warcraft. It shows you what games people are playing, which is typically used for gamers, but it seems kind of fun for those of us who have been using them. Anyway, good night, guys. Thank you for joining, and I will see you next week, which I have no idea what will be.